Hey everyone, welcome back to Everything Journals. I'm Tara.
And I'm Steph, and we're back today to talk about some of our favorites and foundational items to keep us going on our junk journal journeys.
Yes, and it's funny how those little things can make a huge difference in how you journal and the longevity of your journaling journey.
It's so true. I remember starting with you early on, as an example. I felt like washi tape was frivolous. Like, I can just use scotch tape because I already have some at home. And as I started making spreads, I realized how much joy a fancy little piece of tape can bring me in my spread. And so I think talking through it, like, everyone's going to have their own opinions, things you love. We want to hear from anyone out there listening. What do you feel is like a basic foundation for you and also something that like brings you joy, even if it seems maybe quote unquote extra? But I think talking through it is really helpful because you helped me to see that. When I walked into a big box craft store, even a small one, I was overwhelmed by what was there. My mind started to make it too complicated. And if I make it too complicated, I'm not going to do it. So you helped me figure out exactly what I needed to get started without blowing the budget or just blowing my mind.
Well, I will tell you, it's good that I was able to show you that. Let me tell you how I got there. Okay, I blew the budget. I bought too much stuff to the point where I was able to supply a full junk journal meetup with my own personal items. Okay,
That's how you did
so
it? My God.
yes. So, no harm in that. If you're somebody like me who likes to overdo it, you go into that craft store and it's just like those doors open and it's like, oh, you need it all. Please buy it all. But let us show you at least if that's not you or you're looking, where do I just get started? Some of the things that either I wish I had very early on or that were super helpful to me early on. And the first thing for me was organization. So I was a mom on the go. I worked and I needed a way to like store the junk that I was collecting through the day. Yes, I initially did it just in my purse or in my briefcase or in my suitcase, but things would get ruined, they would get lost, and then I would have to reorganize it at the end of the trip or end of the workday or whatever the case may be, right? So come in the beautiful accordion organizer that I got at Office Max. So not a craft store, but found this at Office Max. Now they also have it at, I think they have smaller ones at like Dollar Tree. I've even found one at Goodwill because I, of course, need a second one. I'm not sure why that might mean that my junk stacks up too much, but keep an eye out for an organizer like this one. They're perfect because you're able to separate it by day. And as you can see, I'm very behind on my junk journaling, but each slot for me is a different day. And so I break down pieces of the junk and I throw them in the slot and I'm good to go. So an organizer of some sort was a necessity early on for me because I do need some sort of structure to my
Yeah.
day or my purse.
You saved my life with that actually, because shortly after we had started and I was actually doing spreads, I went on this crazy trip around the world in 30 days. And I knew that I probably wouldn't sit down to do a spread while I was there, but I absolutely needed to collect things. And you showed me that accordion organizer. I think I actually got mine off Amazon and worked very similar to yours, where it was like a day, the junk from each day. And it helped me to break it down too, because like realistically, you can only fit so much in your suitcase. But that saved my life to have somewhere to put it. I also like to bring like a Ziploc bag or something, because there were some things that had like it's attached to food. It was a cup, it was a wrapper, it was whatever. Time to like totally get it clean. So even like the most simple you could get, I'd say bring a Ziploc bag with you in your purse, and that way you're not getting everything in your purse nastified if you're bringing home a wrapper.
Yes. And first, you might say, like, I'm never doing that. I wouldn't bring a wrapper. I wouldn't bring a piece of a cup. No, you
You're gonna.
probably will. It's going to be so cute, or they're going to have the right sticker on it. You're going to want it. So something to protect your purse or your handbag, whatever it is really important. But yeah,
Yeah.
it also helped me realize when I was maybe collecting too much. And I
Mm.
know I am a big believer in collect more. Like more is better for a spread. But when you're on a trip, especially, it can be easy to collect so much that by the time you get home it's really overwhelming, right? And it's difficult to then pick what you want to use. And sometimes that can just lead to like the thought of just throw it all away, give up on that trip. So by putting it in each little slot, it helped me see like, okay, that's plenty for that day. Now, if there was still small pieces of stickers or whatever and they fit in there really nicely, then fine, I would take that. But if it was something a lot bigger or thicker, it did make me think twice about it and whether I needed the full thing, or it made me get creative of like, how can I break this down further? Right. And we'll get into that in other episodes of like how to break down junk and how to make thicker pieces thinner, all that kind of stuff. But it does make you at least think twice before you just take it all home and now you have a full carry-on full of junk to sort through on the back end.
Yes, yes, I have gone that extreme, and I definitely haven't
Mhm.
gotten to those spreads yet, and it does feel like a little overwhelming because I have to go through all of it. But just keeping it contained with trip by trip or location by location was a lifesaver because I finally did get around to doing some spreads from that 30-day trip, and I still have a lot left to do. But if I hadn't contained them in some way day by day and city by city, there was no way I was going to remember what went with what. So that was a huge lifesaver because at this point of recording, it's been 9 months since that trip. And it's amazing. Like the memories that come flooding back when I'm looking at the junk and thinking about the spread is great, but also it's a little scary how much I have already forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah, it does re-spark some of those memories, but it's nice when they are together because you're like, oh yeah, that was almost even the I guess phase in which I went through the trip, right? Like this was day one, this was day two, because otherwise names of places and stuff blur together. But no, yeah, that's been a lifesaver to me. This is my everything. I use it all the time, and you know I've had other versions of it, but this is my trusty dusty. So, but like you said, you can find it anywhere. Amazon has them. I mean, I found mine at Office Max. That doesn't mean that's where you need to get it. So just look up small accordion organizer or
Mm.
small accordion folder, and like on Amazon and stuff, they all pull up. So definitely find a way to organize. But what else? I know you had some
I
cases that you really like to use.
Yeah, I do have a favorite. So on the big trip, I had actually used this bag from like a sample skincare thing. It was a really cute little pink bag, and I put a little phone holder in there because I was going to record, and I had all these fancy plans of things that I never actually did. So, what I did keep though, as far as basics, this has become my favorite case. This was not the one that went on the trip with me, but
Oh,
it's
that's very pretty.
yeah, it's the Kokuyo Pip P I believe tool pen case. And I found it again, I'm addicted to Amazon, I hate to admit, but
Who
I
isn't?
really liked that it had a wide opening and then it has this little like pouch that you can pull out of
Mm.
and it just like I don't know, it just holds a lot more than you'd think. So I have like a little ruler for keeping things straight or ripping apart my washi tape. Quick note on that. Rulers are really helpful for ripping apart if you do want to not have like totally shredded look. I almost did not make it through Delhi because of a travel scissors that for some reason always ended up in my carry-on and not my checked bag. And I was sitting there for about 20 minutes while they were going through my bag trying to find these little scissors that I forgot were in there. So do not bring
Interesting.
yeah, they were like the 1 inch ones that even said like you could because
I
they're
think I told you to bring them.
you did, it was your fault.
I think I did because I have traveled with them and I have used them on an airplane. I have junk journaled on an airplane. And so smaller the better. And from what I researched, like they would be allowed. But what I wasn't thinking for you is you were going international and
Yeah.
they probably were going to be more strict. I didn't go international. So
Yeah.
sorry for that. So note to everyone else.
Not your
Don't
fault.
take mini scissors internationally.
Yeah, don't do mini scissors internationally. I should have learned my lesson because I had already been stopped before and then was like, yes, I'm going to put these in my checked bag from now on. And for some reason, they just kept making the way onto the carry-on. Now,
But
what's
they didn't
funny
take them
is,
away, did they?
no, they did not. They found them, looked at them, inspected, went to someone else, talked, and then just dropped it back
Determined
in
they
my
were okay.
backpack. Yeah. So I still have them. They're never coming with me again. We are going to use rulers to rip things apart or fingernail clippers if I have to, because
Fair.
those don't seem to be a problem. But I have learned to
You
embrace.
know,
Oh, yeah.
small tip on that. Something I learned when traveling, if you don't have an item, ask your hotel. Okay.
Mm.
So I went to Mexico on a very lovely trip that you gifted me and my husband for our
Happy big
anniversary.
anniversary. Yeah.
It was. And so it was a great trip. And I had in my mind that I'm going to junk journal through the trip. So I didn't bring a bunch of junk home, right? But I only brought the basics. So I brought glue, one thing of tape, and my mini scissors, of course, and my journal. Well, I didn't think about the humidity and the fact that my glue did not hold at all. The
Oh,
paper was too like moist, I guess. It was very humid.
that's crazy.
Weirdest thing. Never even anticipated it. So tape was what worked. So I ran out of my tape like on day 2, which was ridiculous, but I don't think it was a full thing of tape. Anyways, my trusty husband is not afraid to ask for anything, so he went to the front desk and asked like, "Hey, we have this little project. Do you have a roll of tape we could have?" And they were so nice and just gave us a full roll of tape. So I'm just saying, if you run out of something, even if you don't have a scissors or something, like ask them. I'm sure they might look a little like sideways of like, "Why do you need it?" But if you're just like, "I have a little project, like I need to
Mhm.
finish it up. Do you have this?" So don't be afraid to ask your hotel.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, I've done it for phone chargers when I've forgotten cords or, the blocks or whatever to plug in. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna try that
Scissors,
because
tape.
scissors are not worth
I
it.
mean, they're an office, right? They're an office space right there. They'll have those.
It's true. I'm always asking for silverware because I never seem to have that either. So that'll be another episode of like things to just bring in general because
Hmm.
that's packing's hard. But I'm with you on different types of adhesives. So I like the Tombow.
Mm.
I can't seem to, I don't know. It's just the regular glue stick. I've tried what's that brand? The most common brand, Elmer's
Elmer's.
glue sticks. Yeah, though, and I like the ones that do the purple so you can see where
Yeah.
you actually applied it or not, even though it freaks me out that I have bright purple everywhere for a while. It does dry clear, but I didn't find that it was as strong as an adhesive as this one, unfortunately. It's not in my pack right now, but the other backup I have is like a tape runner you showed me where it almost comes out of a dispenser and you can just, yep,
It
that
looks like
guy.
whiteout almost.
Yeah.
And this is a really small one. This is my travel one. They do have bigger ones. And also I use the Tombow. This one is the Kikuyo. So they had like a 3-pack on Amazon. So I did get these for travel and it works really well.
Yeah.
The Tombow I got at I think Michael's. And they have
Mhm.
like refillable packs and that one works really well. But I'm with you. This is the most common, so I always have it. This glue,
Mhm.
the Elmer's purple clear drying, but it's definitely not the strongest. So what I would say is like, when I first started junk journaling, I was more looking for what can I get quickly and affordably. So a pack of these, or even just going to the dollar store, they have these. Walmart has these everywhere. So start with them. Unless you want to invest a little bit more right away, this will get you started. Now, if you're thinking longevity for your journal, like you want this glue to hold for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, especially when you're going on big trips and there's special things, definitely go with a stronger glue like the one you're talking about. But if you're just starting out, you you know, don't be stressed about that, I guess,
Mhm.
because I still use this to this day because when I'm doing a pharmacy spread, I don't care if it lasts for 5 years.
I have to
Yeah.
confess while we're on this topic, I noticed in time as I was finding my way with junk journaling that my style evolved. And I remember
Mm.
confessing this to you, and you were probably dying when I showed you. But I had this wild idea like, oh, I love tape because then my pages will be like laminated. And you can
Full
see on
on
the time here,
lamination happening.
I covered the entire page in tape, which is not cost effective nor super pretty, but that was like my bright idea of how these pages will last forever. And so I wouldn't recommend that if anyone is trying to go for longevity. Like glue has been fine and it opens up the creativity too, because it made it really hard when everything is like smushed down under tape. Not
Yeah.
worth it.
It's
So
very shiny. I mean, it looks cool,
we'll,
but I
we'll go
get
with
it.
that.
It's a lot of tape. Tape is not the cheapest one, especially if you're doing the bigger packing tape that would cover that space.
Mhm.
For I guess preservation long term, I've also seen people take photos and store it on the cloud or like, on a drive somewhere so that if you're worried that it may not last forever or like a receipt might fade or something, because it's true, thermal, anything that you put in your journal is going to fade over time. You could go back through and take photos of each spread and load them somewhere. I haven't done that yet, but if that is something you're worried about, that is another method that people do to kind of archive, what
Nice.
they've created.
Yeah, that reminds me actually, a good basic I nearly forgot about early on was a way to print pictures. And the pictures were my biggest fear
Mm.
of fading in time because I did not listen to you and decided that I was going to go with the Instax printer, which is like a mini old school Polaroid style. And I thought it would look cool. And aesthetically, it is
It
pretty cool
will.
in the journal, but the color is really faded even from the second that you print the
Mm.
picture out. And so I have since converted to the Canon, and that way you can print pictures that are basically stickers and just stick them right in the journal. Oh, you got yours handy. Perfect. I
Just a
do
little
like
guy,
that
yeah.
one. Little travels well, it
Yeah.
works, but not the
It's
best
not the
color.
best. Yeah, no, it isn't. You definitely have to edit, but even editing it, I mean, it's not the thing that's nice about it is you don't have to refill with ink, right? Like
Amazing.
it, what is it? Thermal? I don't know how it works, but you don't put ink in this thing. You just put your little sticker packs or your paper packs, which I have here, and they are stickers. So the back peels off and they go into your journal. This is a little refill pack, and you never have to put ink in it, which is what made me like it. You just pop the top off and you can do different sizes and squares or circles or whatever, and it goes in your journal. But
I have an
oh,
example
you got one.
here.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of them. And this actually printed pretty decently. Sorry, it's a
Hmm.
little bit blurry, but it's this size is the only one I've tried.
Mm.
It's just like there's some I wonder if this first one.
Here's some smaller. Like I did these as like smaller
Yeah.
squares and just cut them up. So there, it's okay with coloring, but if you do have one that's like you want super vivid or stuff like that, it is a challenge. Yeah, like you do a lot of
Yeah.
scenery ones,
Yeah, this one had
and
a
it doesn't always
rainbow.
capture that well.
No, it couldn't.
Yeah, I didn't see the rainbow.
Yeah, you're pushing the boundary with a picture of a rainbow anyway, but even with tweaking, it didn't quite get there. And I had this cool idea where I was going to do like a sunset a day picture. But
Ooh.
again, sunsets and phones and then printing, I don't know if any printer could honestly handle it in all fairness to the
That's
Canon
fair.
9B, but I did end up making a more of an investment long term and it took me was it been a year to finally do this. So
Mm,
it's not something you need right away, but the HP I think is the brand the Selfie SELPHY.
I
I
want that
should
one.
grab that picture because it's upstairs, but it pops. It definitely pops. It can print full size pictures. You can do collages and that sort of thing. If you have a higher budget, I would definitely recommend. Now it is bigger, so it's not as easy to travel with. I'd stick with like the Ivy or something small if you want to be
Mm,
able to print pictures on your trips. But having some pictures sprinkled into the junk journal spread was a game changer for me because I had just started with junk pretty early on and like no I want a picture for some context so I have found that to be kind of foundational of at least a picture or two.
yeah, no, definitely, it's helpful. And I would say, like, I didn't get the Canon IV right away. I have a printer at home. I don't know if it's an inkjet or what. It's, just a basic office printer. And I started just printing on regular printer paper, which obviously isn't the best quality, but it's what I had at the time, right? And I would put that in the journal. The other tip that I saw people have, because not everyone has a printer at home, I've had one for work, but if you don't have one, the library. Some
Mm.
people will go and take their month's worth of pictures. So you could do your spread, but then go to the library once a month and print out your sheets of paper. And it's an 8.5 by 11 paper. So as long as you're like, putting them on that size sheet, you could get I mean, I don't know math well, but you could get a lot. I know the library does charge like for a page to be printed, but I think it's
Mm.
like 10 cents or 15 cents. But that is another way if you don't have a printer to add them in. And so definitely worth checking out. And then once you're ready to invest in one, I mean, there's always new ones coming out. And so I would take a look at what's like has the best reviews at that moment.
Mhm.
I've heard the HP Sprocket is also decent. That's more like the Canon IV size. I haven't bought another one. I do want to pull the trigger on the one that you have, but I'm going to wait a bit longer. But that one definitely is good quality.
Yeah, it is a really good one. Maybe there's sticker paper. I'd like to find some stickery
Mm,
ones because I like that you can just lay it with the ivy that I can just stick it
yeah.
on. There's no like I think I'd plan to do the tape dispenser type of thing and just do it on the back of the picture. The other thing I didn't have, but I will be bringing on the future, just speaking of adhesives, is you found these glue pens. So
Mm.
it's literally a pen. I don't think I have one in here, but it's like a click pen.
While you look for it, I was so disappointed because I told you about it, thought I pulled the trigger, was waiting for my package, finally went like a week later to look. I've never ordered them. So
Oh
then I was
no.
like, I'm glad you brought it up because I was like, let me just ask her then, how did they work? So does it stick well, first off?
It does. I was using it for the scrap a day, so I got a square punch. And they were small where, with this, and there's some square glue sticks and stuff that you can get so it's easier to align your glue. But I'm getting glue everywhere on my desk, on my fingers, trying to make sure I cover even the corners so it sticks well. So the pen tip, this is not one of them. This is just one of my favorite pens, but it has like a fine point like this one. And the one
Mm.
I got has colors. So it's like a pink, a blue, a green. So similar to the Elmer's glue stick, you can see where you've applied the glue and you can get into really tight places with it, which is cool. So I love that one. I think I'll actually be bringing that to travel. It takes longer, obviously, because you're literally writing the glue on. But if you do the outside border and, maybe an X in the middle of a larger piece, so far the things have actually stuck pretty well. On your fingers, though, it's a bit annoying because it is so sticky. So don't get as
Mm.
messy as me and you'll be fine.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I'm gonna have to pull the trigger and order them now. I even added them to my
Sure.
Amazon storefront because I was like, these are gonna be great, and never ordered them for myself. So once we
Good.
get off, see, we're a bad influence because now I'm getting
Mhm.
off of this and I'm making a purchase.
Yeah.
So
Hard not to. It really, I
it
mean,
is.
you're like, "I need it." It is an
Hmm.
efficient play, and it will work well.
It will, and especially I love journaling on the go. I know you do too. And so some of those tools that just make it easier and you don't have to bring a ton in if you're going to a coffee shop or whatever you're doing. You can keep what you're bringing in a little more condensed. Those help make a world of difference in my book.
Yeah, I agree. And me, I always like to over-engineer process things. So while we're talking about basics, I've figured out this method that works really well where I think about one big piece of junk. So it's going to be a bag or it'll be the tissue paper, which becomes typically the background of the spread. I used to forget about that. And then I'd have just like white paper, or I'd have to find some design paper that I didn't super love, that it felt like I was like forcing this bought piece of thing into my junk spread. So I like finding like one big piece, and then I'll kind of keep logos from other things that are like mid-size and fill in with small. But then from there, it is solving for the glue or the adhesive. Washi tape is now one of my favorite things to use because it just adds a little spice to the spread.
And for those who don't know what washi is, I mean, a lot of people do, but I mean, my husband at first, he was like, what's
I
washi?
didn't.
It's basically like a decorative roll of masking tape, I guess, but it's, just all different decorations. You can get plain ones, you can get patterned ones. I mean, really, whatever you want it to be, but it is, an additional decorative tape that can go into holding something into your spread, but also add a little bit of fun. So instead of, you're already using tape, right? So instead of using just that clear, boring tape, you have something that's, I guess, bringing a little bit more life to the spread. And it
Yeah.
holds pretty good. I mean, if you get a decent, I've had some really bad washi tapes that don't hold, but if you get a decent brand, like I think it's MT, or, there are a few different ones, they hold pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say, like, there's a blanket of, like, washi tape at discount stores are not good, because there's been some I've gotten at, like, Daiso, dollar
Hmm.
store, like, that have actually worked much better than some I found at the big box craft store. There's these tapes I got that are glittery, and it was
Oh,
this, like, ombre color scheme that was super cool. They don't stick worth a darn. I mean,
I think
it's
I've
just
gotten the same pack.
yeah.
They're useless. I have to put glue under them,
Mhm.
and now I've just given up. Now
Yep.
they just sit on a shelf, which I should just get rid of them, but I'm a hoarder.
It's hard to.
But they're pretty, but I have to glue them in order to make them stay.
Yeah, and they weren't cheap ones. So it's hard to say and sometimes you won't know till you try and there's going to be those fails, but you could always solve for it with additional glue, use it in a different way. But washi tape I've definitely come around to because I did not understand. Like at first it just felt frivolous and now I'm like, no, I need that. It can even like help give you like sections to your spread,
Yeah.
especially if anyone out there is a big planner person. I wanted to do it like I was moving my dive journal log over and I forgot to bring washi tape to the cafe. So I was drawing a line with a pen and a ruler. But like instead of doing that, that's where a perfect piece of washi tape could go and it just spices things up a little bit. So that, and then the last thing I'll look out for, because I don't typically buy big packs of them, but whenever I'm traveling, I'll try to find a cool stationery store or bookstore and look out for stickers. I love to get stickers at the place that I'm at instead of bringing along stickers from like a pack I bought from home. So that like is it. And then the junk, and I'm pretty set.
Yeah. No, I definitely will say I love getting stickers where I travel. It is, when I traveled before, anyways, you would buy little souvenirs, right? Like, so it's not like this is adding some crazy thing that you wouldn't have been spending money on. It's just a different thing. So instead of like a magnet, which is on my fridge for a few weeks, and then I'm like, put that in a box, I'll get something like a sticker or a postcard even and put those in my journal so that it's something special from that area. So I think that's a great tip. One other thing that I really like to have with me, especially as your journal gets more full, is a clip.
Mm,
So, it starts to become unbalanced and then the page will start to turn in. So if you just have one, this could early on go to the middle of your journal to keep both open. But I typically just put one on the edge of the journal, the side that would fold in, and it keeps it open. So I'm not doing the spread and having to hold it open at the same time. So
yeah.
those clips you can find anywhere. Actually, I've even just used my kitchen chip bag clips. Actually, my husband and I were just at TJ Maxx the other day and bought heat journals as well. But we found this bag clip of just gold ones. I don't have any with me right now, but they look like journal clips, but they were for, chip bags. So keep an eye out for those. You can look in the kitchen section, you can look at the dollar store, Daiso, wherever, but some sort of clip to hold it open.
Yeah, I recently got a chip bag clip from Goodwill for journal holders, a big one for my giant
Perfect.
journal that I'm using. The one that's like, say, no budget concern is with the traveler's journal. I went on a major traveler's journal phase and they had these brass clips that you can use
Those
to
are nice
hold it down. They're,
because they're
I do,
weighted, they're a
yeah,
little heavier.
they're hefty. They definitely are. But you don't have to go that far. You can literally use anything. In a desperate time, I have used a hair clip. If you have like one of those
Yes.
little claw clips, those come in clutch as well.
I had another one. Sometimes, well, don't be like me and get like just because it's super cute.
That's adorable.
Now this works well on my little planner. I have a little weeks planner and that's what I use it for. But try to make sure when you're buying something it has a little more function behind it. I'm a sucker
Mhm.
for everything cute. And then you get it back and you're like, that doesn't really hold like I thought it might. So, keep that in mind. Cute, but
Yeah,
maybe not always functional. Uh,
yeah, that's
and one thing we haven't talked about, which is just old faithful, we need a
scissors.
scissors or a cutter, some sort of something. Now I rip a lot of my things, but there are some things where you just need a scissors for. So, I think those are from the dollar store. Nothing fancy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any fancy ones here either. I did get just regular one, like I think these ones were in the kitchen and I've used them.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I might one day. So I was at this antique store and they had some really beautiful brass, silver. It was
Ooh.
like a bird handle, gorgeous, intricate thing. And I couldn't bring myself to get it, but I kind of think it'd bring me some joy. So I might need to go back. The other thing I've tried is this, the brand is
Oh
Olfa.
yeah.
I got into journal making and binding, and this was originally to make rip out pages. And so this I thought was cool as another way to like get a it leaves a little bit of a pattern when you're cutting out junk, but this is like absolutely not necessary. It just happened to be something that I thought I would use more when I'm making journals. I do not have the patience to sit there and perforate every single page
Every page.
for somebody. So I'm going to put it to use for my own journal spreads and call it a day.
No, that's cool. And they do make those very similar where it is just a full blade. So, if you do prefer to cut on a cutting mat, like on your desk, where you just roll it across, I mean, I think typically it's used for fabric, but I do have one and it works really well with paper also. So, definitely something to keep an eye out for. But honestly, when you're first starting out, you don't need everything we talked about, but you need
Nope.
scissors, glue, your journal, maybe a clip, and then I think we talked about tape runner or
Yeah.
some sort of tape, some washi tape. Um, and that's really all you need to get started. And then of course your junk. So whatever
Mm.
you've collected, those are really the basics. The rest we'll go into more, I think, down the road and what we love and what makes it fun. But I think one thing that was overwhelming for me at first when I was watching videos is feeling like I needed all of these things immediately to make my journal acceptable and fun and all that kind of stuff. So I finally had to just rip off the band-aid and just do a spread with the only junk I had with some glue. And that's how I, started out. And it released me from kind of that need of having all the extra goodies. And just collect them as it made sense and as the budget allowed and as it spoke to me and I thought it was cute, but you don't need it right away.
Yeah, don't. And I know I'm jumping probably off topic again, but I'll just say this early because thanks to you I found it early and I really love it. I don't love committing to a big purchase like this pattern paper or something that I just really want like 25% of it and the other 75% is kind of blah. So there's some stores, paper stores that have like ephemera packs or like packets of things that have just little bits and bobs that you can use instead of, especially if you don't have a lot of space for your craft setup, keeps it more minimal. You've turned me on to the world of swaps where you can find other people that journal and they want to swap with you. Now you have to have your own stock to be able to do that, but there's also things like subscriptions you can sign up for Happy Mail and that sort of thing that you do. I mean, I get your Happy Mail, and that's honestly what keeps my stock fresh. Otherwise, I get stuck in the algorithm of whatever boring paper I'm always picking and go home. I'm like, this is the same thing I already have. What am I doing?
It's true. I think that's a fun thing is like being pushed outside of your own style. And that's what I've really loved about swaps because I did find when I looked at my stock, it was like all pink. As you can tell behind me, I have a problem with pink. Okay. Pink everything. So
There's
my
no problem
paper
with
was
pink.
pink. I mean, I don't personally think there is, but when you look at my book and it's all pink, there's no variety. I wasn't pushed. And so when I started doing swaps, people would send even just junk swaps, like cool junk that they've collected that can be turned into things like the background paper and things like that because you don't realize how much that you actually buy that looks just like the cardstock that we're putting as a background and because it's pink or it's blue or whatever. And so it really helped also me look at junk differently as I was getting some of these swaps and how I can use it more effectively or do these swaps with people to get these different styles to test out. And then I'm sending my style to them and hopefully it's doing the same, but it definitely is a way to help broaden um I guess your eye and your collection and how you journal.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, I would never have picked any of these things. And now I'm going to make a spread of this swap. And it just pushes your comfort zone in a cool way. It's like low key. I'm going to get more creative. So I think those are fun. Highly recommend keeping an eye out for that or even just packs at the craft store. I think our next episode, what I would love to get into, because I struggled with this a bit and we've touched on it, but the journal side.
Mm.
Where do people get started? Like, what if you just have a notebook at home? You're not sure if you're ready to commit and throw down 25 or 30 bucks. But if you are ready, what are some things to keep in mind and what we've learned along the way? Because I have probably about 10 different journals going right now.
Yeah, it does become a problem. No, I think that's a great topic for the next show. Definitely something that I have made some big fails on, but also learned a lot of things. So happy to share what we've learned. And then also, as always, if you have advice as well on your favorites, your tips, your tricks, what you have found, leave a comment because we are still learning. We are by no means an expert. I think journaling is something you grow and evolve in as you continue on and also as products change, but it's also just fun to try new ones of what's worked for others. So I think that's a great way to kind of segue into the next episode and our favorite journals.
Sounds good. Well, we will see everyone next time. As always, leave a comment, leave your feedback. If you have anything you're wondering about, leave your question there too. That'll help us figure out what we want to cover in another episode. We're also going to be bringing guests on So if you're passionate about junk journaling and want to share your story, please let us know so we can connect and coordinate a time to get you to join us.